Hello, this is Gwen Lofton, and the purpose of this screencast is to show you how the new Granville County Schools ELA unit overviews work. This is going to be third grade, but you'll see all the grade levels have a similar layout. To begin, at the top of the year at a glance for ELA, you'll have Unifying Standards. This is the new concept this year, and these are standards that are taught for the entire year, reinforced throughout the year. You may or may not explicitly teach it. For example, RL10 about reading grade level text. That's not something that you necessarily sit down and have a mini lesson on, but it's a standard, something that you need to have the students accomplishing throughout the school year and definitely by the end of the school year. These standards might cross subject areas, content areas. They influence the instructional decisions that you make, but keep in mind they may not be explicitly taught, but some could be. So up at the top here, you see these unifying standards, and they're listed here for reading and for writing. For each quarter then, you'll have an overview. It's kind of the story of, in this case, a third grader. So in their first quarter, you can read in this paragraph here what they're going to be learning, and the dates are listed as well for when the first quarter will run. Underneath that, you'll see you have reading on the left with the orange over here and blue on the right. So you'll see the reading unit timeline. So you have the unit number, the title, in this case, Building a Reading Life, the first 20 days for reading, and then for writing, Launching Writing Workshop, and then the pacing. So you have 4 weeks for the reading and 5 weeks for the writing. The reason why these are side by side is because they were written to intentionally be taught at the same time because they lend themselves to one another. Then we have a new concept, focus standards and embedded standards. You might have heard in the past we've used terms priority and supporting standards. Now we've redefined and regrouped standards into categories called focused and embedded. Focus standards, as you can see the definition underneath focus standards, are standards that are a priority for direct instruction and assessment. So those are the main standards for that unit. Then you have embedded standards, and embedded standards are included in instruction to support the focus standards, and they may or may not need direct instruction. It just kind of depends on the standard. So for each unit, you'll have the focus standards identified, and they'll always be in bold. And then you'll have the embedded standards, which are not bold. If you notice any of these asterisks, SL1B, for example, if you look up here in the unifying standards, you'll notice this has an asterisk. What that means is it's going to be explicitly taught at some point during the year, whereas you'll see RL10 and RI10 do not have the asterisk. That means it's not explicitly taught, but still an expectation for the year. So this asterisk means it's going to appear as a standard in a particular unit. So you'll see here we have that asterisk. There's one for a focus reading standard and one for an embedded standard, and that just means it is a unifying standard, but is to be explicitly taught in this particular unit. So you have your unit timeline, your standards, and then the third column are your big ideas and understandings. And these are always going to be written like in the form of a sentence. And this is similar to how we had it in our units before. So all these units are going to be set up the same way. So I'm going to scroll through. These units are a work in progress, and we depend on your feedback to continue to improve them. So you'll see an overview is eventually going to be written here for quarter 2. We'll continue to tell the story of third graders. So there's unit 2, which would be, quarter 2, which is unit 3, and unit 4 in this case. Then you have quarter 3, which is going to have an overview paragraph as well. They're all set up the same with the focus standards and the embedded standards highlighted. Quarter 4. And that is how these year-to-glance overviews work. You will learn a lot more about these and the changes in the units and how they've been improved based on feedback and our understanding of the curriculum design process when you come together and meet with the curriculum design team on August 24th. Thanks.